How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today, I want to talk about why you don't want to wait to invest. I also want to go over some positive news in the market, and I want to thank today's show sponsor, Alby. This is going to be a shorter video, but I think this is going to be an important one. So if you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn that bell notification underneath the video, and there are links to Alby underneath the video as well. As you can see, crypto, not doing too much. Actually, if I reload this, we're looking decent. Bitcoin's around 29.5. It's kind of quiet today. There have been a lot of pieces of news and a lot of pieces of data that have come out this week, and we've had a lot of earnings. We have a lot of earnings next week as well. But overall, it seems kind of quiet. It's just been a lot of good news. There have been some companies that have missed earnings, but overall, I think most of the big companies have done pretty well. And you have to remember, too, some of them might miss their analyst expectations, but you have to look at the wider picture. How are they doing since last year? How are they doing from a few years ago? Some of them had a lot of pull-through and demand. So how are they recovering in a time of high interest rate, in this high interest rate environment? So overall, I think it's a pretty good setup right now. The NASDAQ is moving up today as well. A lot of tech companies are moving up, and part of that is due to the PCE price index. So this came in at 3%. This is the PCE inflation. It came in at 3% versus the estimated 3.1. The previous was 3.8. So now we have PCE, we have CPI, both at 3%. We have PPI at 0.1%. So inflation largely seems like it's gone. If you average out these three indices, we're at 2% inflation, which is kind of crazy. Core is a little bit stickier. It's 4.1% year over year versus the estimated 4.2. Previous was 4.6, so it does take a little bit longer for core to go down. But overall, it seems like we're in a pretty good spot. And while the Fed did speak this week saying that we're not to the point where they feel comfortable stopping the rate increases, I think they pretty much are done. Unless we see a tick up inflation, which some people do think we're going to tick up next month. But we have a couple months before the Fed gives their next interest rate increase. And at this point, we saw inflation come down pretty significantly, and they had paused and then raised rates anyways, even though we continued to see inflation fall down faster than expected. So at this point, I think they pretty much just had already decided that they were going to do a 25 basis point hike, no matter what kind of economic data they had coming in. That's the only thing I can think of, because we had seen significant decreases in inflation. Now, GDP also came in pretty high yesterday, which is, I think, why the market actually fell a little bit towards the end of the day yesterday. Now, in one way, it is good news that GDP came in higher, because it shows that the economy is still doing really well and that people are still buying, but it does cause some people to think that inflation could actually tick up and that the Fed might have to start increasing rates even more. So that was a little bit of fear yesterday. But overall, this week has been a good week, and we've seen prices move up, at least in the traditional markets, because we have seen a lot of good data. Now, I do want to thank today's show sponsor, Alby, and then we'll talk about why you need to be investing now. Alby is short for Albestico, and they are trying to create a digital, decentralized global currency, very similar to Bitcoin, but without the mining. So it's less strainful on the environment, according to them. So the token itself is going to be used for a couple different things. You can create your own crypto projects. You can use the Alby token to make payments to other projects created in the system. You can sell your Alby tokens to other peers directly from your profile, and without using intermediaries or commissions, you can pay across the world. You can also sell to exchanges. Now, they are doing their IEO on the P2B exchange, which is a massive exchange. And right now, the token is at a price of about 0.0013, but on IEO, you can buy it for 0.001. So they're saying that this is already a 30% guaranteed profit. Also, on this IEO, there is a 25% bonus to the purchase amount. Now, I'll leave links to this underneath the video. Of course, always do your own due diligence. I'm not telling you to buy or sell this or anything like that. You have to be comfortable with your own investments, but I do want to thank Alby for sponsoring today's video. Here's a tweet that I really liked, and it's just a reminder. I've seen stuff like this before. Every day you don't invest, you're making it exponentially harder for your future self to catch up. The cost of waiting is expensive. To reach $1 million by 60, here's how much you have to invest monthly by age. So if you're 20, all you have to invest is $300 per month. less than $3,600 per year, about $3,500 or so. At 30, you have to over double that. You have to do $675 per month, which is a significant chunk of change for most people. At 40, you have to invest $1,700, and at 50, you have to invest $5,500 per month, which is nuts. I mean, that's a lot of money. We're talking about $60,000 plus throughout the year. And the reason that is because of compound interest. And when you think about it too, if you're investing in some explosive assets, if you're investing in Tesla or Bitcoin, and you miss out on one cycle for Bitcoin, or you miss out on one exponential move in Tesla, that can set you back a lot, right? If you had invested in Tesla in 2021 versus 2019, there's about a 10x that happened there. So that can make a huge difference. Now, I'm not saying to go and deplete all your emergency funds. If you're already investing as much as you can, that's great. But just a reminder, in case you're kind of sitting on the sidelines, just thinking, I don't know if I want to invest in this kind of environment. I don't know if I want to start investing in general. Maybe I'll go on vacation or something. This is just a good reminder, and hopefully people know this. I think a lot of people don't realize how much of a change time makes. But let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Of course, always have some money on the sidelines. I think that's smart. At least if you're investing in cryptocurrency, it's hard to know exactly where bottoms are, and at least psychologically, it's easier if you have some cash. Now, I know it's hard to continue to invest when the market is kind of boring. There's not much price movement, but this is typically a good time to be investing. Bitcoin this last week is at the lowest Google Trends level that it's been at since the beginning of the last bull market. So it is boring kind of to invest right now. Crypto is towards the bottom of the last year, and if we look over the last 5 years, it's in a very similar situation to Bitcoin. So I know it's hard to invest now because there's not much going on. There's not a lot of hyper excitement, but this is a great time to accumulate at this point. Of course, do your own due diligence. Now, Adam Cochran just posted about Worldcoin, and I've talked about Worldcoin a couple times. I've talked about in a full video what Worldcoin is and why I was not buying it. But apparently, there's some rumors going around that either the orb operators or Worldcoin, the actual corporation, are paying people to stand in front of the orbs for videos to like hype up the orb coin, the Worldcoin in the orbs, or also just to bring in more people that aren't fake people, but that if a lot of people stand in line for something, other people are interested. So apparently that's happening. I don't know if this is actually happening. Adam Cochran doesn't either, but he got told by an old marketing firm friend that he got asked to basically provide these kind of services. Hopefully, not too many people get screwed out, or this Worldcoin doesn't rug pull or anything like that. It is a very large market cap, which is one of the reasons that I'm pretty careful about it. They also won't talk about their release schedule either. So I'd just be careful out there if you are looking at it. And then I do have a favor to ask. Earlier this week, I talked about software. Actually, it was just yesterday. Software and the author, Jason Lowry, having to take this down. He was ordered by superiors to take this down from Amazon and to not talk about Bitcoin in public, but he seemed okay with it. My question is, if anyone has an extra copy and is willing to sell it to me, will you please let me know in the comments section? We'll figure out some way to communicate off of the comment section too, but I'm just curious because I really would like to get my hands on this, and I didn't plan on it being out of stock. I probably should have bought it anyways, but let me know if you have a connection or if you have some extra copies. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And again, thank you to Alby for sponsoring this video. Check them out in the description. As always, do your due diligence, and I'll see you in the next video.